life did not intend to make us perfect. Whoever is perfect belongs in a museum. The first person you think of in the morning, and the last person you think of at night, is either the cause of your happiness, or the cause of your pain. A man only begins to be valued when he is no longer there. The best way to lose a woman was to show her a kind of life that one could offer her for only a few days. To forget is the secret to eternal youth. One grows old only through memory. There's much too little forgetting. What you can't get always seems better than what you have. This includes the romance and idiocy of human life. It is better to die when I want to live than to live before you want to die. A lonely person cannot be abandoned. It is a mistake to assume that all people have the same ability to feel. If a woman belongs to another man, she is 5 times more desirable than the one you can easily get. Modesty and conscientiousness receive their reward only in novels. In life, they are exploited and then shoved aside. If a woman is angry, it means she is not only wrong, but also she knows it. A woman becomes smarter when she is in love, whereas a man loses his mind. Anything you can settle with money is cheap. Strange how complicated we can make things just to avoid showing what we feel. Being in love is when you want to get old with someone. Never do anything complicated when something simple will serve as well. It's one of the most important secrets of living. It's only terrible to have nothing to wait for. A person can become close to you in 3 days, and the one who lives near you for years may never know what your favorite color is. Women do not need to explain anything. You always have to act with them. No soldier outlives 1,000 chances, but every soldier believes in chance and trusts his luck. Life is a disease, and death begins already at birth. Every breath, every heartbeat, is a moment of dying, a little shove toward the end. It is very queer that the unhappiness of the world is so often brought on by small men. Only if you finally part with a person, you begin to be truly interested in everything that concerns him. That is one of the paradoxes of love. We are forlorn like children, and experience like old men. We are crude and sorrowful and superficial. We are lost. The more primitive a man is, the better he believes himself to be. What comfort there is in the skin of someone you love. You may turn into an archangel, a fool, or a criminal. No one will see it. But when a button is missing, everyone sees that. If a woman saves money on herself, it means that it makes men want to save money on her. Good or ill, life is life. You only realize that when you have to risk it. A man is always great in his intentions. However, not in their fulfillment. Therein lies his fascination. Only a complete idiot would argue with a woman and appeal to her logic. Our knowledge of life is limited to death. A woman should not tell a man that she loves him. Let her shining happy eyes speak about this. They are more eloquent than any words. Keep things at arm's length. If you let anything come too near, you want to hold on to it. And there is nothing a man can hold on to. Bombardment, barrage, curtain fire, mines, gas, tanks, machine guns, hand grenades. Words, words, but they hold the horror of the world. I stood next to her, listened to her, laughed, and thought how terrible it is to love a woman and be poor. There is nothing more tiring than to attend how a person demonstrates his mind, in particular, if there is no mind. At school, nobody never taught us how to light a cigarette in a storm of rain, nor how fire could be made with wet wood, nor that it is best to stick a bayonet in the belly, because there it doesn't get jammed, as it does in the ribs. He who wants to hold on to that is losing. Those who are ready to let go with a smile are trying to keep him. Whatever happens to you, never take it personally. Nothing in this world is so important. If a man is not married at 30, it means that he has not been forced to get married yet. Men don't get married because they want to get married, but because women want to get married. We have so much to say, and we shall never say it. A friend standing behind is worse than an enemy standing in front. Everyone saves someone at least once, just as he kills someone at least once, even though he may not know it. It is melancholy secret that reality can arouse desires, but never satisfy them. Who has many women, knows women. Who has one wife, knows love. The things men did, or felt they had to do. Not always sorry for the one who is wrong, asking forgiveness of the one who values the relations. I feel like I am among people who are going to live forever. At least that is how they act. They are so obsessed with money that they have forgotten about life. Don't rush to help those who haven't asked you to, because not everyone who is drowning needs a hand, someone to drown. Wisdom accepts that all things have two sides. Nothing has a stronger influence, psychologically, on their environment, and especially on their children, than the unlived life of the parents. The greatest potential for growth and self-realization exists in the second half of life. Children are educated by what a grown-up is, and not by his talk. The healthy man does not torture others. Generally it is the tortured who turn into torturers. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. No tree, it is said, can grow to heaven, unless its roots reach down to hell. The foundation of all mental illness is the unwillingness to experience legitimate suffering. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Everyone you meet knows something you don't know, but need to know. Learn from them. The least of things with a meaning is worth more in life than the greatest of things without it. A dream that is not understood remains a mere occurrence. Understood, it becomes a living experience. The difference between a good life and a bad life is how well you walk through the fire. 12 experts gathered in one room equal one big idiot. There is no coming to consciousness without pain. If a man knows more than others, he becomes lonely. A particularly beautiful woman is a source of terror. As a rule, a beautiful woman is a terrible disappointment. He who is afraid needs dependence, as a weakened man needs support. A man who has not passed through the inferno of his passions has never overcome them. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. What did you do as a child that made the hours pass like minutes? Herein lies the key to your earthly pursuits. The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. If an attractive woman is single, it's because she is smarter than everyone else. In each of us, there is another, whom we do not know. We cannot change anything unless we accept it. Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darknesses of other people. Find out what a person fears most, and that is where he will develop next. If the path before you is clear, you're probably on someone else's. The first half of life is devoted to forming a healthy ego. The second half is going inward and letting go of it. The shoe that fits one person pinches another. There is no recipe for a living that suits all cases. If you are a gifted person, it doesn't mean you can give something away. Don't hold on to someone who's leaving, otherwise, you won't meet the one who's coming. The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Often, the hands will solve a mystery that the intellect has struggled with in vain. Shrinking away from death is something unhealthy and abnormal, which robs the second half of life of its purpose. It all depends on how we look at things, and not how they are in themselves. Shame is a soul-eating emotion. Talking is often a torment for me, and I need many days of silence to recover from the futility of words. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to a better understanding of ourselves. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes. The debt we owe to the play of imagination is incalculable. Knowledge rests not upon truth alone, but upon error also. Great talents are the most lovely, and often the most dangerous fruits, on the tree of humanity. They hang upon the most slender twigs, that are easily snapped off. An understanding heart is everything in a teacher, and cannot be esteemed highly enough. One looks back with appreciation to the brilliant teachers, but with gratitude to those who touched our human feeling. The curriculum is so much necessary raw material, but warmth is the vital element for the growing plant and for the soul of a child. Where love rules, there is no will to power, and where power predominates, love is lacking. The one is the shadow of the other. The creation of something new is not accomplished by the intellect, but by the play instinct, acting from inner necessity. The creative mind plays with the objects it loves. The rational attitude, which permits us to declare objective values as valid at all, is not the work of the individual subject, but the product of human history. To ask the right question is already half the solution of a problem. To me, dreams are part of nature, which harbors no intention to deceive, but expresses something as best it can. The capacity for directed thinking, I call intellect. The capacity for passive, or undirected thinking, I call intellectual intuition. Sometimes, indeed, there is such a discrepancy between the genius and his human qualities that one has to ask oneself whether a little less talent might not have been better. I have always been impressed by the fact that there are a surprising number of individuals who never use their minds, if they can avoid it, and an equal number who do use their minds, but in an amazingly stupid way. Creative powers can just as easily turn out to be destructive. It rests solely with the moral personality. That which compels us to create a substitute for ourselves is not the external lack of objects, but our incapacity to lovingly include a thing outside of ourselves. A special ability means a heavy expenditure of energy in a particular direction, with a consequent drain from some other side of life. We should not pretend to understand the world only by the intellect. We apprehend it just as much by feeling. Therefore, the judgment of the intellect is at best only the half of truth, and must, if it be honest, also come to an understanding of its inadequacy. I regret many follies which sprang from my obstinacy, but without that trait, I would not have reached my